One of the things you should be asking yourself as a trader fairly frequently is, are you missing trades or are you simply missing the point? So what am I talking about? Well, have you ever been in this position? You're sitting at the computer, you've got your charts loaded, you've got your support and resistance zones set for the day, the market reaches your levels, and then it makes an enormous movement from your level. However, there was no entry for you. You didn't get into the trade. So you just have to watch this market making this huge movement, and you just have to have your hands folded in front of you, and you're thinking to yourself, if I'd been in that trade, I would be making X amount of money right now. This would have been me for the day. This would have set me up for the week absolutely perfectly. So have you ever been in that position before? If you've been trading for any length of time, of course you have. Happens to me all the time. I mainly focus on the FTSE 100. When I'm looking at my support and resistance levels, what I'm doing is I'm looking to implement my trading plan. I am not looking to catch every single movement the market makes. It just wouldn't be possible. You'd have to be some sort of clairvoyant. What I do instead is I have a trading plan that allows me to find high probability trading entries. But I have to follow the trading plan. So I'm not looking at the FTSE every day. Okay, this is the exact area I'm going to sell. This is the exact area I'm going to buy. Then I'm going to sell here, then I'm going to buy here. Because today the market's going to go like this. And I'm going to hit every single point perfectly, and I'm going to just take money out of the market. That is not how it works. What happens instead is you wait for your trading plan to set up. Now, why am I going over this? Well, it happens to a lot of people. When you miss those trading setups, and I don't mean you're missing your trading plan. I mean when the market hits the level and then makes the huge reaction and you weren't able to get into the trade. When that happens, very often people get frustrated. They get very, very angry. For some reason, it mainly happens that they get angry with themselves. They blame themselves for missing that market movement, even although it's not part of their trading plan. So I was speaking to someone last week and he emailed me about a trade that he had missed. And I sort of went through it with him through email, and he said to me, the market made a huge movement and I didn't get into it off of a resistance level. And I looked at it and I said, it doesn't really look like a setup to me. And he came back and he said, well, it wasn't. I didn't think it was a good setup. But then look how the market moved. And he was actually blaming himself for not taking that trade. Now, one of the ways to do this is to sort of imagine you are teaching a child how to trade. So you bring your kid in, you sit them down on the seat, they're facing the computer, and you say, okay, this is what we're looking for. If the market reaches this level or this level. If we see those things, we then get into a trade. They say, okay, I understand. And they sit down and they wait for the market to reach that level. The market reaches the level, they don't get their setup, and then the market makes a huge movement. And you turn around to the child and you start screaming and shouting at them. You say, you're such an idiot. Look how much of a move this market's just made. Look how much money you've just missed out on. Now, would that make sense? First of all, you're probably going to terrify the kid. But more than that, you're going to confuse the kid. Because he has been told, or she has been told, that you're following a certain plan. This is what we're looking for because we know over time this leaves us consistently profitable. None of us can accurately predict a market's reaction points every single time just through a feeling that we get. It's very easy after the market's made the movement to think, I should have taken that trade. But in reality, it's your trading plan that makes the decision because we're dealing with uncertainty. And the only way to deal with uncertainty in a way that can leave you hopefully consistently profitable is to have a trading plan. So you've just screamed at this kid, you've just told them they've done something wrong. Now what's going to happen the next time the market reaches one of these levels? They're not going to know what to do. They're going to be confused, and that is what happens to so many traders. And worse than that, when does it happen most? Does it happen when you're having runs of amazing trades and everything's going swimmingly and you're just getting the profits out of the market over and over and over again? No. It happens when you're in drawdown or when you're not having trades every day. At those times, it hits the levels and you start thinking, I don't want to miss this potential big movement. It's not setting up quite right, but I need a win. And so you jump into the trade, and what happens? you have losses and it starts to compound. You start to make more and more mistakes because as you make those mistakes, you start to think even more, okay, I can't miss the next big move. If I miss the next big move, I'm going to beat myself up. And it's like a vicious circle because you're no longer following your plan, you're just basically guessing and hoping and praying that something's going to work out and you're going to make your money back. That's why it's so important that you ask yourself, am I missing trades or am I just missing the point? You're not there to get every single market movement. You're there looking for something very specific. Now, if you'd skipped the trade and it was a good setup and you had skipped it through fear, then yes, you're missing trades. And you need to address that problem because when you're missing those trades, if they're the good trades and they hit good profit targets, that's your profits or a part of your profit for the month now taken off the table. Your losses are still going to be there and maybe the rest of your winners if you take all your trades, but that's one of the profits off the table. And if that happens over and over again, suddenly there's not a lot of wins left for the month and you start to be break even, you start to lose money. Those are the kind of things that you should be addressing. And how do you make sure you are not missing your trades, but sometimes maybe you're just missing the point and getting frustrated? You get comfortable with your trading plan. You understand what it is that you're looking for. And when you see it, you take the trades. When you don't see it, you don't take the trades. And is it frustrating sometimes when you've been sitting waiting for a market to hit a level and then you don't get your setup and it makes the movement? Yes. Very, very frustrating. It happens to me all the time. The worst times for me is, so if I'm running through a level with subscribers for maybe a week, 2 weeks, if the market hits this level, this is a really good support area. I think it happened maybe at the start of this year or the end of last year. I can't remember, it was the last time. It was a really, really good level and I was like, this is a really good buy zone. Market hits that level, nothing, no entries. Turn the computer off, come back the next day, the market has rocketed away from that level and I'm thinking to myself, if I'd been in a trade there, I would have made X. But then I say to myself, well, are you missing trades or are you missing the point? You're not here to just predict and guess. You're here to follow your trading plan. I'm not magic. I don't know what the market's going to do, but I know how to position myself to be likely on the right side of a trade over the long term. And so I just said to myself, it wasn't a setup, you missed the movement, but you didn't miss the trade. And that helps me get through. So if you find yourself often beating yourself up, imagine you're teaching a kid how to trade. And if it's not a setup, imagine you've taught this kid how to trade, exactly how to follow your plan, and then this market makes this big movement, which wasn't what you told them to look for, and then you start screaming and shouting at the kid. And you say, you're an idiot. You've missed all that profit. Why did you not take that trade? And the kid's going to say, because you told me that I was to follow this plan and it didn't set up properly. And then suddenly you should be thinking to yourself, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I am overreacting a little bit. If you're getting frustrated with missing those market movements, it's most likely in a time of drawdown or in a time where you've got not a lot to do. Those are the dangerous times for traders. Anybody can come to a market and have winning trades. It's easy. Traders are made when it gets difficult because that's when most people make mistakes. That's when most people let those mistakes grow into something they can't climb back out of. Traders are just good at dealing with the frustration, the boredom, the anger, the annoyance. It's a very difficult job. It's an emotional roller coaster, day to day, week to week, month to month. You can get to the end of a week and you can have had one good trade, a few bad trades, and you're sitting down for the week. That's very difficult to deal with. And that's when you start sort of second guessing yourself. Oh, but this looks like a really good area. It's not quite my trade, but maybe I should take this. It's not your trade because you know it's not a high probability setup. If you want to be a trader long term, you have to follow your trading plan. And that includes not beating yourself up to the point where it makes you take imperfect trade setups. So, are you missing trades or are you missing the point? Hopefully, that helps you guys sort of analyze a little bit more when you are beating yourself up after the market has made a big movement and there was no setup for yourself. It's normal. You're not trying to catch every market movement. You're just trying to align yourself with your trading plan and catch those high probability trades. That is your trading plan. If you think of 10 different traders trading the FTSE, 10 different trading plans. They're all looking for different things. When I'm looking for resistance at this level, they might not even be watching the charts. You can't beat yourself up for every market movement. All you can do is follow your plan, follow the process, and over the long term, find your consistency as a trader. Okay guys, as always, I hope that was helpful. I hope you're all having a good start to 2019. Your trading is going well. I'm James Orr, and thank you.